are you doing there? No. Take anything you want. Anything. But don't do that. Don't do it now. Why? Why? No, please. 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 Don't. Please. 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 No.
Oh, Shorty. Won't you listen to that cow now?
Oh, it's not one of your little people, Dad. It's just a cow.
There's something wrong with that cow, Michael.
Well, maybe she's hungry, huh?
She's not feeding, she's one. Now, why should a cow be going unmilked this far into the day?
Say, Dad, you don't suppose Mr. Danfield's sick, do you?
Now, what's the use of supposing when it just takes a minute to find out? Mr. Danfield! Mr. Danfield! It's Sean O'Hara.
Well, why don't you see if it's locked?
Do you suppose it's all right?
Of course it's all right.
Mr. Danfield? Lord preserve us. Michael, run quickly for the doctor. He's still breathing. Hurry, lad. And bring the sheriff, too.
Well, son, you might as well slow down. We're not going to get any place tonight. Spring jobs are over and the summer jobs haven't started yet. Evening, ma'am. Tell you the truth, Scar, I've been dawdling on purpose. I've been kind of hoping to spend another night out on the range. Being a horse, you wouldn't know, but the ground's a lot softer than some of those 25-cent hotel beds. So, if you don't mind. Say, do you see a light flickering up behind those trees?
As cold as the clay. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly and play the dead march as you carry me along. Take me to the green valley, there lay the sod o'er me, for I'm a young cowboy and know I've done wrong.
Howdy. Howdy. Don't stop. That sounds mighty pretty.
Well, it gets kind of tiresome when you hear it all the time like I do.
It's better listening to those coyotes.
That's about all. Say, I'd be real proud to have you stay for supper, friend. Though I got nothing but beans. There's one thing you can say for beans, though. There's always plenty to go around.
Thanks very much. Not much obliged, but I got some grub of my own.
You have? What do you got?
Beans.
Yeager's the name. Toby Yeager.
Vint Bonner.
Vint Bonner? Well, what do you know? See, I've heard a lot about you. And, that six-shooter.
That's a mighty pretty guitar you got there.
Oh, it ain't much, but it sure is company.
I know what you mean. It's pretty lonely on the trail. Sometimes I figure I might end up talking to my horse.
Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly and play the dead march as you carry me along.
Why don't you join in, Mr. Bonner? Your voice can't be any worse than mine.
Well, all right, but remember, you asked for it.
Take me to the green valley, there lay the sod o'er me, for I'm a young cowboy and and know I've done wrong.
There go the neighbors complaining again.
I guess it ain't one of their favorites.
I always liked a good tune, but I never could do much about carrying one.
Oh, there ain't much to carrying a tune. All you got to do is face up to it and get a good grip on it.
Who in the name of heaven would want to kill poor Homer Danfield? But there wasn't a better liked man anywhere in this whole valley.
But, Sean, that's got nothing to do with it. Whoever it was looking for valuables.
Now, Sheriff, who around here would be looking for valuables in Mr. Danfield's place?
Well, how much of a chance has he got, Doc?
Don't feel much like sleeping, do you?
No. Not with all those beans in me.
Here's one I'll bet you never even heard.
Darling, I am growing old. Silver threads among the gold.
That's a real pretty tune.
Sort of gets close to you. Name of it is Silver Threads Among the Gold.
Shine upon my brow today. Life is fading fast away. But my darling, you will be always young and fair to me. Yes, my darling, you will be always young and fair to me.
That's mighty pretty. How come I haven't heard of that before?
Oh, I guess it just hasn't got this far west yet.
Don't tell me you're from the East.
Now, ain't that a heck of a thing to say to somebody? My home's in Utah. I spent a couple of months in Chicago last winter.
You like it back there?
No, not me. I was afraid of the horse cars. Headed back west first chance I got, and that's where I propose to stay. I've been laying track for the Santa Fe.
How they coming with that railroad?
They ain't at the moment. They got the line built as far as the town of Peaceful back there. Then they had to stop and straighten out some ruckus about the right-of-way. So I took my pay and bought that spindly mare back there and figured I'd mosey on for somewheres else.
Restless type, huh?
No cure for it.
Trouble is with you, son, you can't tell a good tune from a bad one. That's why you're still a horse. You are now approaching the outskirts of the town of Peaceful. That's the Homer Danfield estate up ahead. Looks like old Homer's got himself some company. Howdy, Mr. O'Hara. Well, open your eyes, man. It's Vint Bonner.
Ah, for the love of heaven, of course it is indeed. Why, I didn't know you were around these parts at all. Oh, but 'tis a blessed miracle you've come, Mr. Bonner.
What do you mean?
A terrible thing has happened to poor Homer Danfield.
How's that?
Poor old Danfield's been shot. He's lying in there now, hovering between life and death.
Do you know who shot him?
I don't know. I think it was a thief of some kind. Me and my boy Michael, we just happened along here yesterday. Twas about noon. And there he lay, with a hole in his chest that big. Sure, he hasn't drawn a conscious breath since.
Howdy, Sheriff.
Well, Vint Bonner, where'd you come from?
Just passing through.
How's Mr. Danfield?
Came to for a couple of minutes.
Did he say anything?
Not much. Fella broke in night before last, long about midnight. Homer didn't know him. Wasn't even sure he'd know him next time.
Just someone trying to rob the place?
He made off with about $50. Homer came on him prowling around the room, and fella throwed lead at him.
You think he'll pull through?
I don't know. He's lost a lot of blood. Doc thinks it might have nicked one of his lungs.
The poor old devil. I'd like to get my hands on him.
Could Homer give you a description of the fellow?
It's pretty vague. It was dark. Could have been anybody. There was one thing, though. The way Homer tells it, it was a little while before he passed out, and he could hear this fella searching around, plundering through drawers and all, and singing to himself while he done it.
Singing?
Homer ain't too sure in his own mind, but I don't ever remember hearing anything like it. Silver and gold and getting old.
Silver and gold and getting old?
Yeah.
No, I ain't never heard a song like that.
You, Vint? Vint, you ever hear anything like that?
I've heard something sounds mighty similar. Sheriff, how'd you like to do some riding?
Yeah.
As I said to the sheriff, there might be no connection at all. It was a new song in the West, but if I knew it, maybe others knew it too. He'd said he was heading south, and that's the way it looked when we picked up the trail. A ways beyond Little Creek, he'd turned west toward the mountain. Funny thing was, it didn't look like he'd been in too much of a hurry. Even after nightfall, there was enough moon to make out his tracks. And along about 9 o'clock, we were getting up around Porcupine Peak.
What is it?
I thought I heard something up ahead. I could be wrong. It could be the wind changed.
As I walk.
He must be up around that bend.
I think we better move in on foot.
I came up on him last night. He seemed tame enough.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Wrapped in white linen, as cold as the clay. Oh, beat the drums.
Howdy again.
Howdy, Yeager.
I thought this morning you was headed the other way.
Well, this morning I was.
Don't tell me you was drawed back by the music.
In a way, yes. This is Cleet Gentle from the town of Peaceful back yonder.
Peaceful and gentle, huh? Now, that's got a real pretty sound. I'm proud to make your acquaintance, Mr. Gentle.
Evening.
Did you ever meet Mr. Gentle when you were working at Peaceful?
Not that I can recall.
He's the sheriff there.
Wow. Surprised I missed you, Sheriff. I guess I just wasn't there long enough to get in any trouble. You fellas ain't just riding around this time of night, are you?
No, we're not. We're looking for a man. Farmer named of Danfield was shot and robbed the other night.
Oh, well, now, I'm right sorry to hear that.
Danfield doesn't remember who shot him, but he remembers the song he was singing.
Song? You mean he was singing to him same time he was shooting him?
I noticed that you were going real good at that music when we came up.
Now, hold up there, Sheriff. I do my singing mostly to amuse myself. Or any stray coyotes that happen to be passing by.
The fellow we're looking for was singing a song not everybody knows.
He was, huh?
Yeah, it's the one you were playing to me last night.
Oh, what song was that, Mr. Bonner?
Silver Threads Among the Gold. If I recollect rightly, you said it was a new song.
Well, that's right, it is.
One you'd picked up back east.
Yeah, that's right, I did, but you figure that ties me in with the shooting?
Well, it narrows it down a lot.
Now, ain't you fellas kind of jumping to conclusions?
Nobody's accusing you of anything, Mr. Yeager.
Well, all right, sir. Then what can I do for you?
I'd like you to take a ride back to Peaceful with us. Let Homer Danfield take a look and see if he can identify you.
Well, he's still alive?
Did you think he was dead?
I didn't think nothing. Now, it ain't unusual for a man to die when he's been shot.
No, it ain't unusual. How much money you got on you?
I guess about $45.
Would you mind letting me take a look at it?
Well, it's just plain American money.
20, 30, 45, 6, 7, 48. $48.
Is that a sign of something?
Homer Danfield had about $50 stashed away that he doesn't have anymore.
Well, now, so did the Santa Fe Railroad, till they paid me off the other day. That money can prove where it came from.
Yeager, I see you're wearing a gun.
Well, that makes 3 of us wearing a gun, don't it, Sheriff?
You'd better let me have yours, and then let's get started back to Peaceful.
All right. I'll go peaceful-like. Look, if it won't hold us up any, I'd like to get my pack together and my horse saddled.
I'll give you a hand.
Well, much obliged, Mr. Bonner. Would you mind fastening my music box to the back of my saddle? I sure wouldn't want to leave that little contraption behind.
It had been an all-night ride for Toby Yeager. For me and Sheriff Gentle, it had been all night and all day and then all night. As far as I was concerned, I couldn't tell where I stopped and the saddle started. The only thing that made me feel worse was when I looked at Yeager riding alongside. He was just, well, he was just so darn cheerful. This time next week, you could be at the end of a rope.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Bonner, it ain't that often an innocent man gets hung. Now, we'll see this Mr. Danfield of yours, and he'll see me. And we'll all feel a lot better, and I'll be on my way to Utah.
Or someplace.
Sheriff, hold up a minute. Would that be the man you're after looking for?
Afraid Homer Danfield will have to be the one to tell us that.
Homer Danfield.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. Homer Danfield won't be telling anybody anything. He left us just a little bit before midnight.
Well, now, that's a pity.
You're a fine one to be calling it that?
Did Homer say anything before he passed away?
Not a thing. Nary a word. Well, I have me chores to be doing now. I'll be off to Danfield's after that.
Thank you, Sean.
Well, looks like I lost my star witness.
Well, one of us did. I don't know which.
What do we do now, Sheriff?
Now, that is a question. Just what would you do, Vint?
I'd be gol darn glad I wasn't the sheriff. Sheriff.
I'm neutral.
So it seems. Look, you can't put the man on trial for murder just because he knows a song nobody else knows.
All right. Here's your money. Here's your gun.
Well, I'm real sorry I put you in all this trouble, Sheriff. Sure enjoyed your company, though. Yours too, Mr. Bonner.
Care to ride over to the Danfield place with me, Vint? Looks like we've got to start all over.
Let's go.
And that's just what it amounted to. Hours and hours of riding for nothing.
And what are you going to do now, Sheriff?
Blamed if I know. Got a vague description that fits most anybody, and a few silly words out of a song that nobody ever heard of.
Didn't tell us the fella's name yet, Sheriff.
Jaeger.
Toby Yeager.
Yeager? That's not the fella that used to work for the railroads, is it?
That's right, Mike. Leastwise, that's what he says.
Well, it's a good job that we didn't hang him.
And why's that?
I'll tell you why. He was with me till well up in the evening the other night. Both of us got into a poker game over at Red Philpott's.
You did, huh?
So you're after that being at it again, are you, Michael O'Hara? Losing your good money in a poker game, have you?
Now, you can't lose money from a fella like Yeager. At least he's not the second time around.
Why not?
Because he's a bluffer. You know, he's got the best poker face I ever saw in any man, and always the worst hand to go with it.
How did the game turn out?
Poor Yeager. He just took all his pay from the railroad, and he lost every last cent of it.
How much would that be?
Oh, I don't know, $50, $60 maybe?
Wish my horse weren't so plumb tuckered out, because he's really got to do some traveling. Hello, Yeager. Don't let me stop. You go right ahead.
Ain't it a small world? No matter which way I go, Mr. Bonner, I seem bound to run into you.
Sure does seem that way, doesn't it?
Why don't you sit down and have a bite to eat with me?
You know, it sure would have saved a lot of wear and tear on that guitar of yours if I'd have known you were a poker player. You do like poker, don't you?
Oh, sure. I like a good game of poker now and again.
You play a cool, steady game?
Why do you ask that?
I figure sometimes you can look at a man and figure out what kind of a hand he plays. You, for instance, I figure you'd pick up 3 cards to fill a straight.
You sure can't spot him, Mr. Bonner.
You drew 1 card too many.
I ain't sure I follow you, Mr. Bonner.
That money you're carrying, that isn't railroad money. You lost your pay in a poker game 2 nights ago. Mike O'Hara was sitting in the game.
Well, supposing he was.
That was the cards you needed.
Oh?
Suppose we go back to peaceful, and you explain where you got that $48.
How much obliged to you, Vint?
I'm glad I could help you, Sheriff.
You know, if we hadn't got that man, I might have had to charge you with it. 'Cause after all, you knew that song, too.
I'm afraid you'll be learning it yourself one of these days, Sheriff.
We'll take that out of him in a hurry.
Mr. Bonner. I hope I run into you again sometime.
Well, that'd be nice.